Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler for Melda Production, and today I'm going to show you how you can do skip cycle synthesis in MSoundfactory. So I was actually hip to this type of synthesis by JMG8 on the KVR forum, so thank you to him. And basically what it does is it kind of changes a single cycle waveform each time it goes through a cycle, or in this case maybe faster than it goes through a cycle. Here you see I have just a wavetable oscillator, and so if I just play it now, it's just going to play a saw wave like that. But what I want to do is actually want to maybe shift between these. So what I'm going to do first is just add an LFO here, LFO1 like that. If I do that, you'll see it's moving back and forth. But that's not so interesting. If I change this to a sine wave, you can hear it. But that's just, like normal wavetable synthesis. So what I can do here is actually change things in the LFO. So first I want to change this to a saw wave, and what I'm going to do is actually go into here, advanced, invert it, so that way it's going from down to up. And then the second thing I want to do is change this. I don't want the rate this slow. I want it to go audio rate. So if I use this follow note frequency, now it's going to be going really fast. So whatever note you're playing, that's how fast the cycle is going to be going. So if you look here, you'll see it moving ridiculously fast. So it's moving faster than the display can catch up with. But it still sounds the same. You don't see any difference. And if I look in the oscilloscope, it looks the same. But let's say I change one of these. So let's say I change this to a sine wave. Now, sounds almost the same. Sounds a little bit more bassy. You see it. You see here, it actually looks different. It doesn't look like the saw wave anymore. And so I can change this around. Let's see if I change this, and I'll change this to something else, like maybe this. Now let's look here. You see, now we're starting to get some kind of like weird shapes. And of course, I'm only using 2, but I can use more. So let's say I'll leave these sine and just have this one something else. Let's try, so I can import my own single cycles here. So I'll use this one, saw with formant. Let's hear how this sounds. So you see, now I'm starting to get some more interesting things. And you can use this to create all sorts of interesting new like waveforms, which is definitely cool. But I think that's not even the most interesting part about it. So of course I could modulate the depth of this and do all sorts of other things. But I think if I use this LFO1, we can do some more interesting things. So now I have it at just whatever note I'm playing, that's how fast it's going. But I can drop this by octaves like this. And I'm getting some really cool tones, but if I move it up, I get the same thing. Or not the same thing, but another interesting thing. So this is almost sounding like FM synthesis or AM synthesis, which is really cool. But I think the real interest comes when you use this synths, maybe modulator, to kind of like detune it. So if you play like this, it's completely in tune. But let's say I start to move it a little bit, like this. Now we're starting to get like some almost like tremolo effects, and the more detuned or I make it, the more you'll hear it, and the faster it'll go. But not only that, if I move up the keyboard, it will move faster, like this. So it works almost like kind of like a Reese bass. So you get all sorts of like new textures from that you couldn't get before. And besides that, I can of course mess with like pulse width modulation at the same time. And of course I could add some unison to it if I wanted to. So there's all sorts of interesting things you can do with this and take it in all sorts of new and interesting directions. So this is kind of like just a brief overview, but tell me if you come up with something cool using this technique. If you like this, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com. Until next time, see you.